Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Bennington Made. I'm Matt Harrington with the Bennington Area Chamber of Commerce, and with me as always is Cat TV. We're here at the offices of GVH Studio. You may not know exactly what they do, but you've seen their work all over town, all over the region. Let's go meet with Greg Van Houten, owner and operator of GVH Studio, and just see how he makes what he makes right here in Bennington, Vermont. Hey Greg.
Hi Matt, how are you? Welcome to GVH Studio.
Thanks so much. So talk to us a little bit about what GVH Studio is all about. I think some people are probably familiar with your work and have seen it all around, but they may not actually know what GVH actually does and how you do it and how you make it.
It's a good point. We reach into a lot of different markets. Part of our business plan is to spread out our product line so that we don't experience some of the peaks and lulls that we had when we first started. We're very heavily entrenched in the cultural market. The cultural economy is very important to us. We have a lot of museum customers, theater festivals, dance festivals that you're familiar with, such as the Clark Art Institute, Williamstown Theater Festival, Jacob's Pillow, the Hyde Collection, of course, our Bennington Museum, Old Castle Theater. It can go on and on. I'll leave somebody out and they'll be mad if I try to name them all, but probably 40% of our business is cultural economy. These are actually products we do as part of our trade show line. This is a retractable banner stand that goes down into a cassette. But if you remember the Starline Rhythm Boys show at the Old Castle Theater that we sponsored two year and a half ago, so we made the backdrop, big 3D SRB for the Starline Rhythm Boys. There's the Shire's Byway panel down in the kiosk downtown. These are pop-up backdrops for trade show. We have museum banners, museum interior graphics. These are wall murals and cut lettering, promotional signs. If you look down here, you recognize the RK Miles Sprinter you may see driving around. That is, of course, our building in the background. We're here in the Vermont Mill on Benmont Avenue. The Bank of Bennington carved signs, large banners for colleges such as the Bennington College welcome banner.
And that good-looking group.
And that good-looking group, myself and Jane, down at what they call the selfie wall at the Clark Art Institute. That's from the Van Gogh exhibit. And we're having our selfies done. Across here you've got theater banners, museum wall murals, more vehicle graphics you may recognize. Downtown banners, these are the pole banners I talked about. We have these pretty much right down Route 7 from Bennington all the way down to Great Barrington. You'll see banners in the summer up that were manufactured here in Bennington. We do large wall murals, three-dimensional type, cut lettering. Here's your Williamstown Theater Festival out here, those banners. That was a custom design. You'll see these stands here in this photo. That's a custom-made stand. That Williamstown Theater Festival is a pop-up festival that resides in the Williams College 62 Center for Art and Theater, or Dance and Theater in the summer, and everything has to go away at the end of the summer. So we actually designed these poles with these bases with L&G fabricators over on Harwood Hill. So what that is an empty tray with a pole coming out of it. The pole can drop in and affix, and then we fill that with pavers. And we got over at Morse Block on Harwood Hill, and we put those together. So we very often partner with other fabricators and designers in town.
Well, you've shown us kind of things that we probably have seen on our drives or seen as we've gone to some of the cultural aspects of the region. I guess the next step is to go see how it's actually made.
We have a lighted booth here that we use to look at jobs before we print them full size. Now, for instance, this is a proof of a wall mural that you will soon see at the Clark Art Institute this summer. This is going to be probably 12 feet high, 20-some feet wide. So we want to take a look at this and make sure that the color is what we want, the image quality is what we want before we start printing out panels and panels of material. These are banners that you would have seen on Spring Street from the Clark Art Institute in Williamstown. The Rotary down there, these just came down. This is from Japanese Impressions. These banners, if you go to Hildene, you'll see these in their parking lot. So we run these small before we make them full size, so that we know what you're gonna be seeing. Again, with pole banners, these you'll see up at the hospital, Southwestern Vermont Medical Center. They got their 4th Magnet Award for their nurses, for their excellent nursing, and so they put banners out in the parking lot to let everybody know that. So very proud of that, and we love being part of those kinds of accomplishments when our customers are successful and recognized. But we also do small things like these little labels. Any piece of artwork in a museum is going to have a label next to it that explains who created it, when they created it, where they're from, who owns it, what the subject matter is. So we do these for all the museum pieces that we do, and that's, you know, the Norman Rockwell Museum, the Hyde Collection, the Williams College Museum of Art, the Clark, Bennington, you know, the Hyde. So that keeps us busy. When those exhibits change over, there's a lot of those labels, right? And they'll be matched to a paint color, so there's a lot of work involved. So we check that. These lights are actually halogen lights that were given to us by the Clark Art Institute to match their interior lighting. Okay. This is 5,000 K lighting in the ceiling, which is simulated daylight, but this is what we use for the museum work to see what their lights look like.
Now, we did something special for this episode of Bennington Made, and obviously our season is kicking off for tourism. So we're unveiling our visitor's guide, as we do in the spring every year. And one way that we kind of like to celebrate that is we do a big 24 by 36 foam board printout. We do a big uncovering. So probably by the time this airs, we've already done our unveiling party. But right now
we're sworn to secrecy.
We're sworn to secrecy. So let's go take a look at how we gave you a file. We sent you a file that was the right width and dimension.
It's a good point. A good portion of our work comes in from a designer. It's already been laid out and designed. We do have a designer on staff. We do offer some design services, but the bulk of our work comes from either a design firm that our customer has contracted with, or our customer has a design department. Yep. So the bulk of the design is actually, of the graphic design, is done outside of GVH Studio. What we focus on more likely is the project design, how that piece is going to be fabricated and how it's going to hang up or stand up or whatever. Yep. You're hearing our air compressor kick on there. That means there's work being done.
That's a good sound.
It's a good sound. So this is our art department, and this is Nicole. Nicole is our shop manager. Nicole is obviously going to have a little baby soon. We're very excited about that.
A real Bennington made.
All right, a new Bennington citizen. And Yvonne, who's our graphic designer and pre-pressed technician, is laying out a job right now. These are Apple workstations, and these workstations have Creative Suite, Adobe Creative Suite on them. So we have a full license on all our workstations. So this will come in, your jobs come in by email. If they're too big, we'll use a file server network like Dropbox or Hightail or something like that. That job will be written up on one of our job tickets, put into process. We do a pre-flight to make sure that there's no issues with the file. If you need to see a printed proof, we'll do as we showed you before. And then it's taken up on the screen, and it's sent over to what we call the RIP station. RIP is a industry term, stands for raster image processing. Okay. And what that does is, Adobe developed decades ago a language called PostScript. Everything in your Adobe Creative Suite gets turned into a PostScript file, which comes over here to the RIP station. The RIP station will then process that PostScript information into a file format that each individual printer can understand. So if you look over here, we have 4 different printers. Each printer has its own signature as far as how it's going to process a file. This RIP station has software on it that will communicate with each printer in their own language, basically, and create a file that will meet the parameters of that printer.
So I should call you every time I have a printer problem, because you probably know printer problems.
You probably want to call Nicole. She's ignoring me.
And obviously you have up there on the screen part of the cover that's being developed that we sent you.
Your cover has been processed and is queued up to print. So I'll go through the printers right here. This printer over here is our newest printer. That is an Epson photo quality printer. It's an aqueous or water-based ink. It's good for short-term outdoor or long-term indoor. Very high quality, high resolution imaging. The next printer there is the Epson GS6000. That is our oldest printer. That was the first green solvent printer that was available, meaning that it has the outdoor resistant inks, but it also operates like an aqueous printer in that it doesn't create any noxious fumes. There's no heavy metals and no carcinogens in the inks. Previous to that, you would have had to have these in a room with an air changer running the fumes out, or it would be harmful. This next printer is the brand new version of the green solvent. We got this just before the small one. This is the GS3, Green Solvent 3 inks. And if you come over here, I can show you this. They have 10 colors in this one, including white. So we can print white on clear now, which is a new feature. It's got some improvements as far as ink drying panel. The material handling is much better. So they took that printer with the same technology and basically improved it another step and added some features to it. So this is eventually going to replace that printer. The printer behind you here, if you step back, this is a Hewlett-Packard printer, and this is their new technology called latex inks, and it's actually an acrylic ink material that is water-based, and as the ink gets laid on it, the water gets baked off, so you're left with a nice hard acrylic finish. This ink is very scratch resistant, and it's very good for banners and materials that are not going to be laminated. So we use that for that type of thing, short-term posters or long-term banners and whatnot. So each printer has its own strength as far as the materials it'll print and the medium. As you look over here, if you look where we just were, you can see the line. We call that the vinyl forest. There's any number of mediums you can print on, from decal material to fabrics, canvas, papers. We actually print on very little paper. Paper is expensive. It's not very durable. So if you're using something for any length of time, paper can be a liability. Okay. So we print on different materials that'll perform better than paper, and a lot of times they're more economical. So you're seeing this file. Mackenzie sent this file over from the RIP, and this is your cover file. And you can see the colors are being laid down in unison, as opposed to an offset printer where one color is laid down at a time. In digital inkjet, there's thousands of little jets putting color down in unison across the sheet, and you can actually see it build up as you go towards the printer. It's putting it down in layers. This is our finishing department. As you can see, this is the larger room of the two. The whole shop working area is about 3,500 square feet. We have 1,000 square feet of loading dock and storage area out there as well, which is really nice about this building. We have full loading dock height access to deliveries. As you can see, if you look over here, you can see these 4x8 sheets of material. They come in on big pallets or on trucks, so we have to be able to get that in. Also the equipment, some of this equipment is fairly large, so it's nice to have access. Another different line of work from the printing is the vinyl plotter. This is a 54-inch Graphtec plotter, and what this does is it cuts contour shapes. If you're familiar with CAD technology, it takes vector image, which means outline, and it cuts it out of pre-colored vinyl. So we weeded this out, meaning pulling out the background so you could see. This is a recycle logo. This started as being a full sheet of white vinyl with an adhesive back. So it's stuck to this carrier sheet by adhesive, like that. So the blade will travel along and cut according to the file, and then we'll weed that out, and that can get applied, and you're going to see where that gets applied. Long-term vinyl graphics are laminated with a film covering. This is called a film overlaminate. And if you can see here, there's a, let me turn the light on here. There's a clear film laminate on the drum here. If you press a graphic through, it'll put that clear laminate on. That becomes an abrasion and an ultraviolet protector for graphics. Yep. So that'll double the life of a printed color graphic on a vehicle or on a wall or a wall mural. So this is the machine I was talking about, the Rogue Roller. Yep. This was manufactured in Oregon. And what this does is it will apply vinyl to a board. So she's pulling the vinyl back and pulling off the liner to expose the adhesive. So you can roll that right down on the board. The weight of that roller is keeping the decal in position, and then it rolls back and finishes the application. Now it just has to be trimmed down.
Ta-da!
Put your finished boards together. So the piece that you just saw printing was then mounted this way and trimmed down to be a final poster. And that's ready for display. So that's how we do a good portion of our museum graphics.
Yep.
We can change the media, we can change the board, but the process is basically the same. The print technology is the same, the equipment's the same. It's just we're changing the substrates. Printing has always been about finishing. Offset printing, whatever. Everything isn't a poster. You know, it has to be trimmed or folded or cut or mounted or something like that. So this is how these get made. If we step down here, we can see our production line working on a couple of different things in the cut vinyl mode. This is Aaron. Aaron is applying vinyl to vases for a wedding. They're going to be 18 place settings. And this was something that was designed with the sister of the groom and as her wedding gift to them. So these will be filled with colored sands and plants and put on all the guest tables. You can see behind Aaron, there's a bunch of them already made. Daniel here is weeding vinyl, as I mentioned before. The lettering has been cut out of a sheet of light gray vinyl, and he's weeding away the background, so it'll just be the letters. This is also part of the Clark Art Institute summer exhibit. So this will be all weeded, then there'll be application tape put on so it can be transferred to the wall, and this will go just on the wall. There'll be no board, there'll be no background, it'll be just on the painted walls. This is a pole banner. These are going to hang on lamp posts. You can see these are printed vinyl, two sides, right? So it's two pieces of vinyl sewn together with a sleeve, and there'll be a pole on the light pole that comes off. There's a bracket that attaches these to the light poles. So this is what you see in a lot of downtowns around. And
so do you outsource the actual? You give the vinyl to?
No, we make these right here.
You do it right here.
These are printed on the Hewlett-Packard latex printer that we just showed you. And right behind Mike is my $2,500 sewing machine, which I never thought I'd own. But that is a heavy-duty canvas sewing machine. One of the wonderful things, again, about Bennington is if we have a problem with that machine, Porta-Brace, our neighbor, who was one of your subjects a few months ago. Don Roy at Porta-Brace knows everything there is to know about sewing machines. And he's always very kind at helping us figure out what's wrong with our sewing machines. So thanks to yet another Bennington manufacturer, we get up and running very fast if there's a problem with that. If you come over this way, we have, you'll be seeing these around Bennington soon. Any place there's garbage disposal, there needs to be recycled. So this is the white decals you saw. The town is repurposing their trash containers to be recycled containers. So you'll see those pop up soon. This is our trade show backdrop. So this is one of these portable display backdrops, and it has a collapsible backdrop. This goes into a small bag. I can pick this up and carry it away. Very recently, we got a call from, it was just last summer, we got the original call from the Stockbridge Library down in Massachusetts. They had done an entire renovation. Millions of dollars were raised. And Gary Corey's group, the Centerline Architects, had done the architecture on it. So they had called us about donor panels and recognitions. And they needed stuff everywhere. You know, they had book stacks they wanted plaques on. They had benches. They wanted a full donor wall on a brand new brick wall that was immaculate. They wanted plaques in the garden, all that type of thing. So we sat down with them and saw what they really wanted to do. And it was a combination of GVH Studio, J.A. Maher Monuments, Jay's Art Shop, Tomasi Sports, L&G Fabricators. You know, we made all this different stuff to go and solve each one of these problems. We didn't just try and sell them one solution for everything. They wanted different things. So we put that together, coordinated it, fabricated some of it, and then installed everything on site. So,
Well, and that's the theme that you keep bringing up and we keep hearing is that really the guy next door that's going to fix your sewing machine. I think you like that other story where it was about the pulling together of all the Bennington little companies to kind of really create this special package for a client.
Sure, and it would have been very difficult to find any one company that could do all of that. They probably would have been forced into doing something that may not have come out the same way. Here we can use a complement of our network and all these great companies in Bennington, and it's really a fabulous town to get something made. You can make just about anything you want, from carbon composites to plastics to metal to wood. Just all kinds of craftspeople here and fabricators. Manufacturing, I believe, is still our #2 employer in sectors in the town behind healthcare. So we try to use it to our advantage, and we can, from a business standpoint, it's not just a feel-good thing. It turns a $500 sale into a $2,000 sale. It's simple numbers. We can increase the size of the job and improve the economy at the same time. So why not do that?
Why not?
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you coming down and visiting us here at GVH Studio. Come back anytime.
Yeah, well, we're very impressed by all the stuff that you're making right here in the Shires of Vermont, in Bennington, Vermont, and keep up the good work.
Well, thanks so much. Thank you, Cat TV. Can I help you?
Hi, looking for Greg?